Awesome. So it's good to have my co-host back with me, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while since he and I have been on our show together. So it's good to have you with us. And it sounds like you've had a productive day. So that's good. So what happened with the Boxbook advertiser? Tell us about that.
They came out, so they're doing a story of me because I'm from Boxburg. Everyone knows that probably by now, and because most of my investments are in Boxburg, so they're doing a story from where I come from. Bit of a how can I say that? Bit of a tricky background. How would I say that, Candice? A bit of a
Interesting background.
interesting, yes, interesting background, and so they wanted to know about that. So the story was not about property as in, so it was more of your journey, where you were born, school you went to, bit of that interesting background, and to where you are now. So it was quite in detail. I was surprised. I thought he was just going to ask about property, but he asked about my parents and asked about you, and long story. But anyway,
Awesome.
we'll see the article when it comes out.
So you're one of our local celebrities now.
Local celebrity in Boxburg. I'm an influencer in Boxburg.
So everyone, for those of you who are watching, Leroy is our local celebrity and influencer in Boxburg. Awesome.
It's a joke, guys. It's a joke. Relax. It's a joke.
Nice one, nice one. No, but that's good. I mean, it's, I know your story is very encouraging. So, I mean, you really come from an interesting background, and, God has really developed you and helped you to succeed to where you are today. So, even though it wasn't just property based, I know, or property focused, I know that your story is definitely going to be encouraging someone out there. So nice one. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. And yourself? What you up to?
Yeah, so your sister's been very productive over the last couple of months. It's been a very productive time, a good time. We've had our SME Woman that we launched, our SME Woman Global platform that we launched on the 22nd to the 23rd of August. So that was really exciting. And that was really one of my dreams come true, because I really wanted SME women to also have global impact and influence, as far as developing entrepreneurs are concerned. So that was very exciting. And of course, you were part of that particular platform, because, as part of that platform, property remains a core focus. I really do believe it's important for every entrepreneur to also be empowered and equipped in the areas of property. So that's been one of my main focuses. And then, of course, we've also been working on some other initiatives as part of, as a result of what happened from the platform. So that's great. We're working on some, additional master classes. You and I also had a chat. We've had so many people reach out to us, and even from the summit and after your talk as well, and Amanda's talk, there were some people who really need some assistance in the area of property coaching and training. So, that's definitely something that we need to prioritize. So, of course, we invite them to our Get Property Wise Wednesday chats. But I do believe that, we need, there are people who need a little bit more than that. So that's good. And then, of course, our development projects still on hold until next year, which is not too great, because I'm at a stage now where I really just want to get started, as part of those projects are concerned.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, but of course, we understand, that this is the situation for now. So I think that's just one of the things that, we would really like to get started on. But of course, we now need to wait until probably early next year, and then we can get started on that. But I'm using the time wisely, also making good use of the time, looking at, because we are looking at more projects. So of course, now there's an opportunity, also to negotiate better prices as far as those purchase prices are concerned, because, the market has taken a little bit of a dip. And of course, when you've got access to the capital, it does make it easier, to do the negotiations as far as that is concerned. So we are looking at new deals as well. We are exploring our own platform, Property Pick, even for our development projects, which is great. And I mean, I don't know if many people know, but there's also an opportunity to tap into some development projects, as far as our Property Pick platform is concerned. So, I mean, we're also exploring our own platform, which is awesome. So now we don't have to go too far to look for those opportunities. We can tap, right into our platform as well for our personal deals, which is great. So yes, so lots happening, Leroy, but I think, it's an exciting time. I know this COVID impact has been significant over the last couple of months, but I really do believe that it's brought with it a lot of opportunities as well, not only for property investors, but I do believe for entrepreneurs. So we've all had to kind of think outside of the box and become a lot more creative. But it's been exciting.
I think that's the thing. I think when you get uncomfortable, you start, when you become a bit uncomfortable, then your creative juices start flowing, eh?
For sure, for sure.
That's good. Yeah, but I think the projects are going to be exciting. I looked at 2 buildings yesterday as well, which I'll tell you about in Randburg. So yeah, about 100 units, about 70 units. But prices seem a bit high. But anyway, as I said, people are negotiable these days, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yes.
So let's see who we have online here, Candace.
Awesome.
Can you see from your side?
Yes,
I see we've got Angelique. Angelique, how are you? Constance. Richard, how are you, my brother? Welcome, welcome.
Great stuff. So it's good to see you all. So we've got some of our regulars joining us, so that's great. Thanks everyone for connecting with us. So we just had a little bit of a catch up there, and I hope the sharing also, was good for yourselves. But it's good to be back with you all today. And as we shared, so today we're going to be talking about some exciting developments as far as our platform Property Pick is concerned, as well as sharing some tips with sellers, so people who are looking to sell their properties quickly. And the reason why we also think it's a good time to talk about it is because we know a lot of people have lost their income during this time, whether they've been retrenched or maybe they've lost a portion of their income due to the state of the current economy. And companies have had to make some changes as far as that is concerned. Also, some businesses we know are not doing too well. So we know that a lot of people are finding themselves in a situation where they need to sell their properties quickly before those properties are repossessed. So I really do believe that Property Pick is really another platform that can assist those sellers who need to sell quickly, because part of what we do is we connect investors to sellers, and of course also to good property deals. So if you are a seller out there today, so you need to sell, whether you've lost your income, whether you need to immigrate quickly or relocate quickly, some of you may have received an inheritance in the form of property, and maybe some of you want to sell it because you need the cash at this time. Whatever your reason is and you need to sell quickly, remember that Property Pick is here to also help you from that perspective. So what we have as part of our development over the last couple of weeks is that we now have a free listing available for every single seller who's got one property that they need to list. So that's very exciting. We also thought that as part of Property Pick, what can we do to help people during this difficult time? And of course, this is also one way, where we are also able to help people who are in a difficult, place at this time. So remember, one free listing at no cost, and up to 3 months, you are able to list your property. And what happens is the moment you list your property via the platform, so you would subscribe as a seller, as a seller for free listing. Once you do that, your property is then advertised to our entire database. And of course, anyone who comes onto the platform will also have an opportunity to browse your particular property. So take advantage of it, sellers. If you are out there, you need to sell your property, it doesn't matter what condition your property is in, leverage the platform so that we're also able to help you with that particular situation. And then of course, it's an opportunity for an investor, also to tap into a good deal that they are then able to analyze and see if there's an opportunity to expand their income from that perspective. So I think that's exciting.
So it's actually a win-win. So you list your property for free. Other platforms charge you a huge amount. You list it for free, which means that you don't pay a cent. And there's an opportunity for the investors to obviously have direct access. So you'll deal directly with the investors. We've got a lot of investors who are hungry for properties.
For sure. So definitely a win-win situation. I agree with you on that. So I see some more people have joined. Thanks, Sammy, for joining us. And for those of you who are currently online, remember, if you have any questions, any comments, please share it with us in the comments box or the chat box. make sure that you like, that you share our page with as many people as possible, because we do believe that this information is also going to help them. So today we're going to be focusing on the sellers. So some tips that we can share with sellers who will be taking advantage of this free listing on our platform. So we're just going to be sharing some tips with you that can also help you, make your listing a lot more attractive for the investors who are looking for some exciting deals at this time. So I think, Leroy, if you can maybe just, share some tips with our audience today.
Look, I think firstly, if you're selling a property, firstly, you need to determine why you're selling it. And obviously you would know that why you're selling it, because that'll determine, can you hold it for a while? You need to sell it quickly and bring down the price a little bit. It will determine, does the property need work? Do you have the finances to do the renovation and the refurb to add value to the property? So I think firstly, you need to determine why you need to sell this property. So if you're selling it for, let's say you just want to move to a bigger house and you're not desperate, then obviously then you can wait for the price that you want. And I think the number one thing is determine what the market value is of that property. Very important. Determine what the value is of that property, and see what similar properties sold for in the street in the last weeks, months, or the last year. And that will determine what's the value of your property. And then you need to look at, how does your property compare to those properties? Right. So I think that's determine why you're selling it. If you are financially stressed, maybe your income was lost, then obviously you need to think of, listen, if there's not a demand for that in the area, maybe I need to lower the price slightly or with a lot, depending on what it is, and sell it sell it at a discount. But at least I know I cover my expenses and I get a little bit out of it as well. So, and it also determines, are you selling an investment property or you're selling a house that for first-time home buyers or family house? So I think that's the first one, Candice, is determine why you're selling the house, because that will determine, are you going to sell it at a discount? Does the house need work? Do you have money to do the work? Don't you have money to do the work? That will determine the price that you're going to sell it at.
Yes, no, that's a good tip, and something that I just want to add to that, so you mentioned that it's so important even for sellers to know what the market value of their property is, and that's really a good thing. So if you're a seller, it's definitely important for you to know. If you don't know where to pull the specific reports, make sure that you have your agent give you a copy of the property valuation report so that you can see what is the market value of your particular property. Then what I just want to add on top of that is that if you are in a position to make changes, or enhancements to your property because you want to get a better price for your property, make sure that you don't overcapitalize on that. Because if your market value is sitting at a certain level, and that's the market value for that particular area. So properties generally sell between X and X amount. Don't, put in changes and refurbishments to your property that's now going to be taking, that price above that market value. So you need to make sure that you work within, your market value. And of course, you also want to come in, at the right level as far as that is concerned. So I think that's important. Don't overcapitalize on your refurbishments. And then at the same time, also know that if you are leveraging property pick, because if you are financially distressed, you may not be in a position, to do any refurbishments to your property. Remember, that's okay too. So you don't have to stress about that. Investors don't have a problem buying a property in any condition. Just remember that as the seller, you will need to be open for negotiation, because, if your property is not in a good state and the investor is going to have to make or do the refurbishments on the property, then of course, as the seller, you need to be negotiable on your price. Of course, once you understand what your market value is for your particular property, as is. So just remember, that's important. Be open to negotiations, but also, like Leroy says, know why you want to sell, because when you go into the negotiations, you want to at least really want to walk away with a win-win situation for yourself as well as the buyer. So it's really important to understand, those particular elements as far as listing and your property is concerned.
So that's good. And I think, guys, what is also, you need to also see who you're selling to, right? Because if you're selling a house to first-time home buyers, they obviously want They obviously want a nice house with a nice kitchen, a nice bathroom. They want a nice garden, a clean house. They don't want to do a lot of work to it, right? They maybe just want to change the color inside of a few rooms, right? So make sure that your bathrooms, make sure that the house is clean. So simple things like that help with price. People come to a dirty house and a messed up house. First thing that triggers is negotiation. I can negotiate here, right? Yes. But if the house comes, the garden is clean, and simple things. What it takes you, 100 rand, 200 rand for a guy to come in for the day to do your garden. Maybe try and plant a few flowers. Make sure the house is nice and clean. So you don't have to do major things. Do the basics, and that will help you as well. So if you sell to a first-time buyer, that's what you want to look at. Yeah, you want to add to that?
Yeah, and I'm saying you're right. You're definitely right, because that makes such a difference when a house is clean. And generally some people take that for granted. I mean, we've seen it. We've done multiple viewings, and there's a difference when you view a house and the property is actually clean. It doesn't have to be in the best state as far as maintenance is concerned, but just the fact that it's clean and it's tidy, makes it a little bit more attractive, depending on obviously the buyer. But the other thing, Leroy, you share about the, just keeping it neat and tidy and that type of thing, taking care of the garden. But for those of you who are maybe thinking of doing some sort of, maybe you just want to freshen it up a little bit by giving it a fresh paint, just to kind of add a little bit more value to your property, try and stick to neutral colors as well. Sometimes we want to, paint the rooms with the fancy colors that we like, the purples and the pinks, and those are my colors.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
The purples and the pinks, or Leroy's colors, the reds, the blue and the green. And I'm sure you can see our background, so it's quite obvious, what our favorite colors. But yeah, so that you can do in your personal home, but make sure if you're wanting to sell a property, stick to neutral colors. It makes it a lot more attractive, because, then that potential buyer can actually envision and see how they're going to be working with the space. And also, if you use lighter colors, it creates the illusion of giving the property a little bit more space, or the rooms more space, so that also helps from that perspective. So if you are thinking of doing any refurbishments, try and stick with the neutral colors and the lighter colors, because it does make a difference in terms of the whole look and feel of that particular property. But I think, Leroy, those are really some of the general tips that I can also share what you've shared now in terms of just, general maintenance.
Yeah, that's good. And just to add on that, I know, guys, when I come to a property and the grass is long, all the kitchen cupboards are open, the beds are not made up, I can see there's a problem in this house somewhere. So there's I don't know, the price just comes down automatically if I look at a property like that. So as I said, that's a simple thing, but it's important. I think yes. When an investor buys, he looks at it different. An investor does not look at the kitchen and the bathroom and the yard. He looks at the numbers. He looks at the numbers and he looks at the demand in the area. So an investor yes. will come in and he look at, and he doesn't care if your property is not in a good condition. If your property is, let me use political correct words here, Candy.
What are you wanting?
If your property is messed up, if it's run down, if your property is distressed, I don't like that word distressed, but if your property is distressed, an investor loves that. So you'll probably come in and he'll say, listen, 50,000 to do the refurbishment, to paint. I can put a tenant in for this much. So he works on calculations and he works yes. on demand in the area. So yes. So yeah, no, go ahead.
No, finish?
No, I'm finished.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to say, you're right. It's important for the seller to know that who they're dealing with. Like you said, are they dealing with a normal buyer, or are they dealing with an investor? And I think that will also, help them to also, because they also need to sell the opportunity. So remember, as the seller, you're trying to sell your property. So you want to make sure that you sell the opportunity. So an investor is also going to look at ways to maximize the income on the property. So let's say, for example, you've got, maybe a back room, or you've got a garage or whatever, double garage, sometimes even as a seller, you can already spark some ideas and say that you can potentially maybe add a toilet to the back room, or you can rent it out as another cottage, or even the garage you can maybe convert into a cottage or whatever. So I'm just trying to give you some ideas also when it comes to having the conversation. Remember, an investor is always looking for ways to create and generate income, profit income from the property. So they're going to want to maximize the income potential on that specific property.
And I think that's another, that's good, Candice. So yeah, sell it. Say, listen, you can do this. Why? Maybe find out why you're buying it, and say, listen, you can convert this. I've got the plans for this. You can get 5,000 out of this room. You can garage, so you can get about 3 units out of this house. And I think when you also sell it, like on our platform, you can load on most platforms, you can load your properties on yourself. Take decent photos. Take good photos. It's a simple thing, but it's important. Take good photos. As I said, make sure the house is clean. Take nice photos of outside, and put in a nice description as well to say that, listen, this is a property, and the description, the features. And that's a simple thing, but take good quality photos.
Yes, for sure.
An agent told me, the best agents in Boksburg told me, he says, that's what makes them sell more houses. They know the angles, they know how to hold the cameras. Maybe we should get someone on here to explain the different photos you get, the different way you hold your phone or you hold a camera. A simple thing, guys, you might say, Leroy, that's simple, but that's important.
Yes, for sure. And remember also, everyone, remember last week I shared with you that if you are a subscriber on our platform, that Leroy and I will also be doing monthly webinars as a means to support all of our subscribers on the platform. So whether you are a seller or whether you are an investor, and you have a few questions that you would like to ask with regards to maybe a particular transaction or a particular deal, that you are considering or that you are pursuing, that's just another value add that we've brought to the platform. So he and I will, for now, we will personally be on those particular webinars, and we would be able to answer those questions. So just remember, if you are already a subscriber, of course, you will be receiving the notifications as far as, when it will be taking place and the times and the links to the webinar and all of that information. But if you are just a listener today, remember, I'm sharing with you that if you do subscribe to the platform, there is an opportunity to get the extra value add that we share with you on a monthly call, where we answer specific questions that you bring. So we don't bring a topic to you. You come to us with your questions, and then we obviously, answer those questions and try and guide you through those experiences.
Candice, I see we just got a few more people. We've got the Ricardo on, Lionel, how's it, Lester, Duduzi, Frank, Angelo, Delano, Marushka, Priscilla, how are you? Pastor Wes, okay, we'll chat later. Pastor Wes, David, how are you, my brother? L'Oreal, Gareth, Virgil. Okay, so we got quite a bit of...
Awesome, and then on my side, just also want to acknowledge Spencer, Charles, Sammy, Leonie, Philip, and John has given us a good comment here. He says, this is amazing. I love this. God bless you. Awesome, John. We're glad you're getting some value from this chat today. So great stuff. Thanks for joining us. And then I think, guys, Leroy, we've got about 5 minutes left.
I think let's take a few. Comment and tell us if you got any questions. Hit us up with 1 or 2 questions, or tell us what your tips are when you sell a property. What do you, or even when you buy a property, what stands out for you? What do you look for? Maybe you've bought one recently or you've sold one. Let me see, because obviously we might have missed 1 or 2 tips there. So maybe you have a few creative ways of selling your property quickly. Let's see in the comment section.
Okay, so there's a question here, Leroy. So let's just go through these questions. Okay, so Constance has just said that the SME event was good. Thank you for that positive comment, Constance. Hi, Richard. Richard has also given us a greeting. And then just David. So David has got a good question. So, hey guys, are you able to connect investors with incomplete project or project that lacks funding? So David, definitely there is an opportunity for you to list that particular property. So that's what I'm understanding, is that if there is an incomplete project or project that lacks funding, is an opportunity to work with an investor. So definitely so. And I
buy
can
it
tell
or
you, sorry?
Does he want to buy it or sell it? What is he
So
saying?
it's an incomplete project and it needs funding to be completed. So he wants to know if Property Pick can connect him to an investor that could possibly, you know, maybe go into a JV or take over the project. So yes, there is an opportunity to explore that. So remember, even if you are an investor, and I know some investors are also using the platform for their specific deals. So some investors have deals that they are currently working on and they're either looking to pass on the opportunity or they're looking to go into a JV. They've also listed their property. So remember, there is an opportunity to do that. So if the numbers work and you can show the potential to the investor, then of course, you know, it is definitely something that an investor will consider. But as Leroy mentioned earlier on, make sure that when you list that particular property or opportunity, make sure that you list as much, you add as much information on the deal as you know that you can possibly add, because then it just makes it an easier decision-making process for the investor. So you'll see we guide you with the fields already. So when you list your property as a seller, there are specific fields that you need to complete. So really try and complete those fields as fast as possible. If you find that you are getting stuck on some of those fields and you're not quite sure, you know, how to respond, then just pop us an email on info@propertypick.co.za and we would be able then to assist you from that perspective. So just remember that the fields are there to guide you, but if you find yourself getting stuck on one of them and you're not quite sure how to respond, then of course just connect with us on info@propertypick.co.za and we would be able to help you. So yes, there is an opportunity even for investors to also list their specific deals that they want to sell at this stage. Awesome. That's a good question. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think now that we have the free listing, you can actually go list that property on the platform.
At no cost.
Right? And you can list it for free on the platform and you can put in your description in to say, listen, this is the property. This is what I need an investor to come in with this amount of money, or I need to sell it for this amount of money. Whatever you want, you can go listen and say, either I want a JV partner, or I want an angel investor, or I want to sell the property, and just give all the information on the property. And that's also how you can get investors and partners, JV partners in that deal.
And you're not going to lose anything.
Yeah.
You're not going to lose anything because it is a free listing. So it's not going to cost you anything. For the sellers out there, you're not gonna, you know, so it's actually another opportunity. I'm just reminded of one thing, Leroy, before you do the closing. I just want to say that, remember, for those of you who are signing mandates with your agents, make sure that in your mandate, it is like a shared mandate where you have the option and the flexibility to list it either on Property Pick or to either have the opportunity to sell it yourself through a particular medium. So just make sure in your mandates that you are signing with other agents, because remember, Property Pick just becomes another platform that you are able to explore. So some of you will choose to work only with Property Pick, and some of you will choose to work with Property Pick as well as other agencies. So all we're saying is make sure there is a shared mandate in place that allows you then, you know, the flexibility to list the property on Property Pick. So I've worked with agents before, with sellers and agents before, where they have asked us if, you know, if that's possible. So of course, the seller went back to the agent and the agent made provision in the document that they are then able to also list it on the Property Pick platform as another means to try and sell the property quickly. Because if you are a seller today and you need to sell quickly, of course, you want to make sure that you maximize your efforts, isn't it? So just think about it from that perspective as well.
Okay, thank you, Candace. Okay, guys, so I think there I hope you guys found that valuable. I know those tips, some of them sound simple, but I think they're actually quite powerful if you're in a seller property. So I hope you guys found value in that. If you got any more questions, put it in the comment section. We'll get to it later this afternoon when we get back, when we have time, and then we'll answer all your questions. We'll look at your comments. So guys, thank you for joining in once again. We appreciate it. Remember, share this video, like it. If you've got properties that you want to load on for free, go load your property for free. Go to subscribe, go to free listing seller, load your property on there. And we want to save you bucks, and we want to get your property sold. And if you are an investor, remember there's opportunities on there as well for you. So, but we're focusing on the seller. So guys, it's www.propertypick.co.za. And yeah, we are every Wednesday, 1 o'clock. And Candice and myself are together here. The last few weeks, I was in KZN, she was here, load shedding. So, but it'll be either one of us, right? So guys, God bless you.
Awesome.
You want to add to that, Candice?
No, I'm good. Just wishing everyone a blessed week. Go out there and make your dreams happen. And remember, we are here to, support you with any property related queries. So, come onto our page, note your comments there, your questions that you may have. And, Leroy and I will definitely try our very best to answer you as best as we can. And part of Get Property Wise is really to equip and empower you in the areas of property. So use this platform, and we're here to help you from that perspective. Great stuff. Thank you.
Have a good day. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.